let's talk about migrations within Appwrite. So specifically, I want to focus on migrating a project over from one region to another within Appwrite Cloud. And we're going to do a full walkthrough of how this works. So the concept of migrations is not a new concept to Appwrite. Historically, you can migrate a project over from another platform like Firebase to Appwrite. You can migrate a project over from Appwrite Cloud to self-hosted, self-hosted to Appwrite Cloud, and so on. And this just means that you can take a project, migrate over the data, and a lot of settings that come with that project. Now, with the announcement of Appwrite Network, we've added multiple regions to Appwrite Cloud, and the way that you can switch these projects over to a new region is going to require some migration process. Now, you can manually maybe try to export that data, write a script, and transfer that data over to your new region, but through migrations, this just makes this a lot more automatic, I guess. So we're going to have to create a new project, migrate it over to a new region in order to switch over where your backend is going to be hosted. So we're just going to walk through this, and I actually have a project set up here. And what we're going to do here is take this project that's in a Frankfurt region, and I'm going to switch this closer to where most of my end users are. So I want to move this to New York. Now, just to show you the project, I have some data here. We have some users. I've set up a function here, and I also have a database with some data. In this case, it's just a product store. I have a few items in here. And then inside of my Appwrite storage, I have some pictures here as well. So some files, and we want to switch this over to a new region. So the first step in this process is going to be to create a new project within that new region that I want to set. So what I'm going to do here is open up two separate tabs here, and I'm going to create a completely new project. So I'm just going to call this My App 2, and let's go ahead and create that. And I'm going to click on New York for my region. Let's click Create. And now it's going to be time to migrate the data over here. So we have two projects, and we'll start by going into settings here. This is the New York region, so the new region that I want to move everything to. And we're going to click on this migrations tab. So we can go ahead and click on import data, and we're going to select Appwrite for where we want to migrate from. And we need an endpoint, a project ID, and an API key. So this is all the credentials for my other project. So the project that we're going to move data in from. So let's go ahead and open up my Frankfurt region. This is the original project. And what I need to do here is first create an API key, and I'm going to say migrations. And for expiration, let's just set this to 7 days. We'll go ahead and select everything. So I want to be able to transfer the entire project. So everything from my users, database, functions, and so on. So I'll just make sure all of those are checked. And let's get that API key. So we'll bring that in here. And then we want the project ID. So let's go back into settings here. Let's get that project ID, paste that here. And then we want that endpoint. So we'll throw that in. And right now we can just click on next. And from here, I just want to import everything. So it's going to take a second. It's reading that project information. And at this point, I want to import all my users. I guess I could just select everything here, but you can see that it actually reads what's in that other project here. So it sees that we have a database. It shows all the documents that we can include, the function, storage, and so on. So from here, we can just go ahead and click create. And this is going to change depending on the size of your project. So this could take a couple of seconds. It can take a lot longer than that, depending on what's in your original project. So let's go ahead and create the migration. Okay, so it's importing the data. We'll just wait till this is done, and then we'll get back to it when it's complete. Okay, so the migration's complete, and that was really quick. That took about 4 to 6 seconds maybe. So not much data in there, but that imported the entire project into my new region. So this is within the NYC region. And if we go into the project, let's just see what happened here. So first of all, in the auth tab, we can see all of our users. So the users were migrated. If we go into databases, inside of the dev database, we can go into products. We see all of the products. If we go into storage, here are my product images. That's all transferred. Now, there's a few little caveats here that I want to discuss. So first of all, if you transfer a project here, not everything is going to move over. So there's certain core project configuration settings that you're going to have to recreate and reconfigure. So something like an API key or a platform that you had, this is something you're going to need to set up within a new project. So you notice that the API key that we made in our old project, it's not here. That's going to have to be regenerated. Now, the SDKs, those are going to have to be reconfigured. And as far as on the client side, whether you're using a server or client SDK, you're now going to have a new project ID. So you're going to want to make sure that's updated. And there's also going to be a new project endpoint if you switch the region. So we had the Frankfurt region, and that was prefixed with the Frankfurt region itself. Now we have the NYC region. So make sure to update certain things like that. There's a few little configurations that are not always going to transfer, and that'll be in the docs that's linked up in the video description. Now, as far as the database and collection settings, those are actually transferred. So if we go here, if we go into settings, again, this is the New York region. I never set these here. Those were set in the Frankfurt region. Those were transferred. We can see that users can create and read. So that's pretty neat. A lot of that configuration is going to be transferred. There's just a few caveats. So that's going to be it for this video. I just wanted to show you the quick migration process, explain how to transfer over from one region to another, considering that the Appwrite network was just recently announced, and a lot of people are going to have questions about this. So I wanted to cover this. That's it for now. I'll see you all in the next video.